Shelley here. Another art journal page today, and I'm going to collage, stencil, and use some contact paper as a mask. As always, I hope that you'll enjoy this video, that it'll inspire you to break out your art supplies and go through your stash and get creative. So let's get started. Okay, I've gone through some collage papers, and I think I want to use this. I'm not 100% sure yet. But I've got some things out here I may want to use. So I'm just going to go through. Some of this is stuff that I found in my mom's stuff after she passed away. Some of it I got from old books off the internet that are free to the public, and then typed them and made them, change the font because I like the script font. I think it's called Mr. de Havilland or something like that. Cutting off all my plain edges. You just want to make an interesting background. You're not going to see most of it. And it's always, collage is always a great jumping off point for me. Helps me get started without a lot of risk, because I know most of it will be covered. Sometimes then I'm really sad that I cover it up because I really like the way it turned out. That's usually the case, actually. My piece is off to the side here, so in case I need more. I never put it on back the way I had it, but it gives me an idea where to start. Oops, gloves. These are very thick. My son's girlfriend gave me these tickets. She was throwing them away and asked if I wanted them. And I said, "You know I do." See, it's going a little different now that I'm actually doing it. I had a feeling this was going to be felt tip pen and those always bleed, but don't really care back here. You think you got it straight? Okay, oh, sticky. Okay, we're calling that good. It's not perfect, but it's close. Okay, now we dry. I've got a little bit of my dark gray paint out here, my dauber, which I like to use a clothespin and a makeup sponge with about a 1/2 inch sticking out the bottom is, to me, perfect pounceability. Oh, I forgot my glasses. And I've got a stencil out here. Just gonna go through and put a little bit more pattern in our, a little more interest into our background. There. Oh, need a little something up there. Okay, I think that's everybody. Now we'll let this dry and we could put some color on it. Okay, I think my first layer of color I want to do with a little bit of a bright red, my darker orange, and my darker yellow. And I'm going to water it down a little bit because I want to see what I got happening here in the back. I want to mix and blend. Because I want to see, make sure I got a good mix of those colors. Okay, now let's dry that. And I'm going to do a little bit with this bright green. And some Caribbean. And this one I'm going to use a stencil because I don't want to cover up my other colors there. I've got some high density foam. Maybe we better get out some paper towels. Wipe off some of this paint. This is just a piece of high density foam. that I had left over from reupholstering some kitchen padding, chair padding. I got the idea to try this for stenciling, and I just really loved how it turned out. Get a lot done faster. A lot of good, with some good coverage. All right, now we'll try this. Now, I know I've been using a lot of these colors and magenta lately, but I don't know what it is, but I think I want to do it again. So I'm going to put a little bit of my barn red into my magenta. Let's try one of these. Came in a new pair of flip-flops. So I kept these a long time ago. Let's try this and see if this is the same high density. All right, very colorful, but that's what we want. All right, now I've got to make sure this is completely dry before our next step. Just wanted to show you how I do this. So I've got my long mat, and I'm going to line up one side. Then I'll cut the excess off from the other side. Now, because it's kind of curvy and my mat isn't that sticky anymore, make sure I've got it down as good as I can get it. Hopefully you can see it, I don't know. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to go into my tools, change my cut area to my bigger mat, and then I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to select cut. But before I actually cut it, I'm going to go into my tools again, go down to the next screen to half cut, and I'm going to turn that on. And I have found that for me, for just regular old contact paper from Walmart, that a half cut pressure of 2 works great on my machine. Now, hopefully it won't make a liar out of me, and it will work. So now I'm just going to hit start and cut out my branches and my birds. Okay, I got into a little bit of trouble because I didn't put masking tape along the top here, and so it scratched up and came up, and then I had trouble. So I put a new sheet on and put masking tape all along the top to keep her locked down, and now we will start going again. Now you could do this by hand very easily, just by, because it's not a real detailed, you could print off my JPEG. Well, first of all, you could just draw your own tree. Draw your own tree and cut it out by hand. It's super simple to do. And then when you cut it off, it'll be more difficult to get it to start peeling. You know, anytime you've got a double-sided tape or something. Anytime you've got a tape that you got to start, sometimes it can be a little bit finicky, but it can be done very easily. And this will work anytime you've got a stencil that's not too detailed. Maybe it'll work with a real detailed one too. I haven't tried that, but it just seems like it'd be too much work for me. I don't know. For what I'm doing today, I wanted not too detailed. And then you just get it started up here. Then every once in a while, one of them wants to stick to the side a little bit, so you got to help it, probably because of my tape right there. It's a little fiddly, but it's not bad. And there we go. Okay, now we're ready to start putting our branches on. And I think what I should have done, let's stop here and let's just cut these out. I think it's going to be too hard with the big sheet of them. They're going to curl on me, but I still think it will be easier to maneuver them. So what I'm going to do is just kind of peel back a little bit to get it started, and then fold this. Put this kind of where I think I want it, and I'm not trying to be exact by any means. And I don't care that it goes over the edges because, remember, this is just a mask that we're going to peel up. And then I'll come back over this way and start unfolding it and sticking it down. And if you've ever worked with contact paper before, it's sticky, but it's not like sticky going to bring up your paint. It might in some spots, and we'll deal with that. I'm not too worried about it, but when I did it years ago, it didn't. So I'm hoping I dried this good for an hour, over an hour. I did my heat tool and then let it dry for an hour just to make sure. So I think we're okay, but we shall see. And then I think this guy I had somewhere up in this area. And I just took I forgot to mention that I took my branch from the side stencil that's already in my shop, and then what I did was I ungrouped it in my canvas workspace. I ungrouped it and then just moved the pieces around that didn't have the stencil. I'm just using the pieces that are like the ends of the branches, so they don't have the stencil cuts. And then I blew them up and blew the birds up at the same time so that they'd kind of be the right size, hopefully. Again, it's just an art journal page, so it really doesn't matter, but it's, you know, I want it to be decent. All right, and then what is next? I think this guy, this one's up there. Where's my other, oh, this one here. Okay. So I think I'm going to do this guy first. And have him come like this down to the bottom. Okay. And then this is where I think I'm going to put one of my birds right in here. So I think that's kind of where I want this coming out straight so that a bird can sit here. Okay. And a lot of texture. And then this guy, what did we do? What was this middle piece here? It's coming up like this. This one like this. So I think this one comes up like this. And then this one hooks to that. Something like that. Okay. And then this guy, hooks to this. And let's see, how about okay. And then we need our birds. I thought I had, did I have one that I missed? I had those little extra side pieces, so I decided I was going to go ahead and cut a couple more of those smaller branches. Do this, let's see if it's enough. Now originally I thought I was going to do something like that. To set this guy on. But now I don't know. I kind of want another one in here, up here. Let's do that. My journal's 15.5 by 10.5, so it's a pretty big journal. Yeah, I like that better. And then this guy, do we want him up that high? This guy's down here. That guy up there. Or do we want him down lower? I think we want him down a little lower. So do we want this here? Maybe we'll do that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, top down. But the important part is we get him, maybe we need to do bottom. We need to get him so he's sitting on a branch, like right in there, in that angle. If I hold it with this hand, all right, and this guy or gal, right in there. Now this isn't super sticky. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you could do a lot of painting around it with brush strokes and water. I just don't think that's a good idea. I don't think this is going to, I think that it could bleed under. I think you got to be careful. But for what we're going to do, for what I've done in the past on top, I think we're okay. When I want a bigger, when I want to use a sponge, but I want it large, but kind of an uneven texture, I use these. It's a bath sponge that I got at the Dollar Tree and cut them into quarters. So that way I've got a nice little handle on here and nice and easy to work with. And I could buy several for $1, cut them up, so I've always got sponges ready to go. And I'm going to use some khaki, some off-white, and some white. And I'm going to just start off, way too much on my sponge, okay. Go in and get everything covered. Lay down there. And just like with the reversed page that I did a while back with the owl, I have learned that I like to see a little bit of this color coming through. I don't need it to be solid paint. I think that's more interesting. But if you want to cover yours completely solid, I think that would be fine too. Now I'm going to get a little bit of my khaki. All right, now I'm going to dry this a little bit. All right, now I'm going to come back in with my leaf stencil, and I'm going to just go straight up and down. I'm going to use my khaki because I don't want this to be, I just want it to be kind of a subtle, not in your face, just a subtle pattern coming down from the top. I thought about doing some metallic but I just want just a little something. Okay, and now let's line this up with this one. All right, we're not completely dry yet, but I am going to go ahead and remove. Hopefully it doesn't bring up all my paint. Oh, so much fun, so satisfying. It's nice when you have them hanging over the edges. That's where you can start, and it makes it a lot easier. Oh, that is so much fun. All right, did I get all of them? Well, my leaves weren't as subtle as I wanted them to be, so I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit of my white and off-white, just push these into the back a little bit. The star of the show is supposed to be my birds and my branches. I think that is much better. Okay, I like it. I was thinking that maybe I wanted to put some texture on here with my small flower stencil, but I don't think I want to do anything else to my birds, or you're not going to be able to see them. And I don't think I'm going to outline my stems. I think I'm just going to outline my birds, but let's see. Let's do the birds and see what we get. Ooh, this is too thick. Handle all this paint, but let's try it. He doesn't like the paint. That's not good. Who likes the paint? I've got a new Sharpie with the pointy tip that I haven't smushed down. You know, I thought about some different options, what I could do, but I just love it like it is, so I'm going to leave it alone. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast making this art journal page, and I hope that you'll get some cheap contact paper or some vinyl and mess around with some masking ideas. I mean, it is really a lot of fun. It's easy and a lot of fun. Hey, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you join me in my next video. Bye for now.